Locker room, what's up? The draft is almost over. The Cowboys got all their picks in, and I think they had 7 picks. 5 went to the defense. They got a wide receiver and another offensive lineman that they'll throw in those 5. But you got throw in the 7 to make the 7. You got 5 defensive players. Coming out of the draft, everybody will be talking about the grades and who gets what. And that's important. But I don't believe the importance of the grade, I don't believe the grade is as important than the mentality that you bring on your team. See, everybody outside is going to be making assessments of, they got this guy, he can block. They got this guy, he can rush the passer. And they'll go by the things they did in college, prior years. But the reality is, this thing is not just about the numbers. This is also about the mentality. The mentality. You got to have the right mentality and get the guys with the right mentality to bring on to that defense that lacked a lot of things. See, I'm not worried about these draft picks having a mentality when they're going to the offensive side of the ball. That's one thing. Because the offense is set. They think right now offensively, as a man thinking, so is he, that we can score on anybody. Especially since George Pickens has signed the franchise tag. So now that offense like, we're ready to go. We're going to get this done. On defense, and the offense feel good because they played together last year. On defense, there's going to be so many new faces. And sometimes there's some new faces coming from new places and old places and coming back. And you got to try, man, I'm telling you, that's why a young guy like a Caleb Downs, a guy with that I'm a bad boy mentality, that's been in a program that says I'm a bad boy mentality. That's what you need. And that's why it's so incredible that the Dallas Cowboys were able to get him. You know, I wanted the Cowboys to go get both of my boys off the edge. Ruben Bain and Akeem Master. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I knew we had Akeem. Because, they jumped up to get Downs. And then I saw this thing drop. And then Ruben Bain went at 15, which I'll talk about in a second. It went to Tampa Bay at 15. So I was like, oh my God. I was so mad. I was so mad about that. Because I wanted Ruben Bain too. But we had gotten Caleb Downs, who considered one of the best in this draft. And I was so happy. I talked about, look at the difference a Kyle Hamilton makes for the Ravens. This dude is that kind of dude. And then it even got home. When I got home later on after that, thinking about it, I'm gonna talk about it right now, right here, because that was after Saturday. After Thursday, the first round, And I said, and I said, I'm gonna wait till I see it all before I make a total assessment. But I was talking about, and even on the show with Brandon, when we did the post-draft show, I was talking about this kid and Kyle Hamilton to give everybody out there an understanding of what talent and what this kid brings to Dallas, like what Kyle Hamilton brings to the Ravens. But the truth is, when I left there, after I got home, I got vexed thinking about, oh my God, what did I do? They asked Caleb Downs today to name his Mount Rushmore of Dallas Cowboys.
Who's your Dallas Cowboys Mount Rushmore?
I was a big running back guy when I was a kid, so Emmitt Smith for sure. Michael Irvin, even though he was rooting against Ohio State the whole college football playoff. Troy Aikman, and gotta put Deion in there. So Deion.
And I love what I saw. He said Emmitt, because Emmitt's Emmitt, and Emmitt's a bad boy, all-time leading rusher. And then he went Troy, and he put me in there. And he said Michael, and then Deion. I said, that's a great list. But it made me think about something. That's a great Mount Rushmore. And I had just used Hamilton to describe Caleb Downs. Instead, I should have used Darren Woodson. That's what Caleb Downs is going to be for the Dallas Cowboys. And when we got a Darren Woodson is when that defense speed took off. And D. Woods should be in the Hall of Fame right now. He's an all-time leading tackler for the Dallas Cowboys. And he gets interceptions. He can do everything. He was like he's one of those safeties that can play up. He played me in the slot, played against me. He was Caleb Downs wants to be Darren Woodson right here for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not going to use Kyle Hamilton anymore. Some Cowboy fans may not even know he's baddest boy in the league right now. But you may not know him. But everyone will know Darren Woodson. Everyone. And that's who Caleb Downs is. He is that all over the field beast. And guys, and even when he said it, when I'm watching the interview, and this is why I don't like doing things like prior to the draft and everything like that stuff, because I had been huffing and puffing to get my two guys on the edge with Massador and Bain, and saying we can work on the back end if we dominate the line of scrimmage. So let's go head forward and get them. The Cowboys did get two edge rushers. They got some more edge rushers, not just Malachi Lawrence. They did get a couple rushers. But they got the best safety, bar none, in this class. See, Malachi Lawrence was the next guy off the board. Like I told you, Massador went right before the Cowboys pick, I think, to the Chargers. And I was like, God. And then they talked about Malachi Lawrence. They talked about how big he is, how tall he is, 6'6", 6'7", like that. How quick he is. Now, I knew because of the work that Massador and Bain had gotten with Jason Taylor that they would be pro-ready. Pro-ready. But they say about Malachi Lawrence is that he'll need a little more time to get going. But he has so much upside that he end up being the best of them all because he has tall, he doesn't have whatever the arm length problem that they're projecting on Bain. And I told you I'm going to talk about this in a second. But I was happy with him. I saw some film of him. And I was like, okay, I want to see some more. But I'm hearing great things about him. Great things. And my just my affinity and my affection for the boys that I watched every day. That's why I was talking about, man, get me Bain, get me Massador, get me Bain, get me Massador. And I worry about guys like Downs hearing that, and then we go and get Downs and somebody playing where I said, oh, get me Bain, get me Massador, and you know what I mean. Now we got him. I'm so happy we have him, because if we're going to do it, if we're going to make all of these plays on offense, what's going to happen? The ball's going to be in the air, and now we get any kind of pressure on the quarterback. Then what's going to happen? Caleb Downs will come up with some interceptions. And I always tell you guys, defense don't win championships. Turnover defense will win, will help you win a championship. And that's why it's getting him, putting him back there, getting everybody some confidence in the back end of this defense, with what we place in the front end of this defense. I'm just going to say this. one time. Get ready. This is about to be a hell of a year. Oh, and I'm talking about for the Dallas Cowboys. No doubt. Jerry did a great job. I mean, the Cowboys did a great job in this draft. And one of these guys, and I'm talking about other than Caleb Downs, is going to pop big and do some things, and we'll see which one of those guys are. But you put this with what was on the field last year offensively, with what they're trying to do defensively, and with the new defensive coordinator. Oh, boy, hey. People always say, the Cowboy fans always say it every year, we going to the Super Bowl, we going to the Super Bowl, we going to the Super Bowl. And maybe they get tired of it. And maybe they start thinking, it's like, it's like calling wolf. So when it really happens and you really see it, they want to discount it because they'll say, you've been saying that forever. And that's what people are going to say to all of us Cowboy fans. You guys have been saying that forever. Don't let that disturb you. Don't let it deter you. Because I'm telling you, forever has just ended. It has seemed like forever since we've been in a championship game. But forever, with the draft today, that forever has just ended. On the set at the White House the other day, Brandon Marshall was messing with me. He said to me, man, you're going to be a hot commodity next year, huh? I mean, when I look at this, because we're watching the draft, he said, man, you mean Miami can have that kind of year? Miami's going to have? And then it looked like Dallas going to? I said, yeah, dog. We can go. We're going to the national championship and the Super Bowl. And you're going to see my black ass. I'm going to be right there. I believe I'm going to be in the midst of 2 championship runs next year with Miami and Dallas. Miami plus Dallas. Also, they asked Caleb Downs this one thing.
Michael Irvin, even though he was rooting against Ohio State the whole college football playoff.
You have a message to Michael Irvin now that you're on the Cowboys?
Yeah, we're on the same side. Let's do it.
Yes, we are, young buck. Yes, we are. And I don't care what you say. See, this is what I'm saying as well. Like, because now I'm in love with the man. I love the brother. Darren Woodson is my boy. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I took Darren Woodson in as a rookie. That's my dude. And this dude, you bring me Darren Woodson, you have brought me heaven. And I'm telling you, we're on that back end. We need that on that back end. Quentin Williams got the front end. He had the front end. Caleb Downs, I have the back end. And with Caleb Downs on the back end, with Caleb Downs on the back end of the defense, he'll limit the downs every damn offense gets. Let's go. Down and get out. Not a down and out. Here comes down. Now offense, get out. That's what we're talking about, delivering. And boy, with them scoring 39, 40 points a game, you got to put the ball in the air. Downs, getting down, snatching that ball everywhere out the air. It's going to be a great run. And I'm telling you, the run that everybody's been talking about for the last 30 years, that run is going to come to a stop. This 30 years of no NFC championship game drought comes to an end this year because of what they did this week in that NFL draft. Now, that's just the Dallas Cowboys. I want to talk to you guys about this draft a little bit and what I saw. And it was an interesting piece. Watching the draft was strange to me Because, watching it growing up, there was one thing that pushed me more than anything. And every year I always look for it, and I've noticed something over the last few years, the dissipation of this. Dissipating. It means fading away and leaving. As I put more and more thought to it, I understand now, and I see how. I understand now, and I see how it is happening. What I'm talking about is, at the draft, man, I remember watching the draft as a kid. And in the moment, I wanted to work hard, and I wanted to get drafted. And I thought to myself, man, I just got to get drafted and get out of here. And I've seen kids, you see young men get drafted and they just start bawling and crying. And they turn to their moms and they say, I told you I was going to do it. I told you. Say, yes, we know, honey. Yes, we know. I'm going to take you out of the ghetto. And they're crying. They're so emotional because the draft said, Mom. And a lot of these were single moms raising kids, working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. And then the kid makes it and he's up there crying like I don't know what, because he's saying, I've been watching my mom work 3 jobs to the bone. And I'm gonna be able to help her now. You see crying from that. You didn't see much emotions in that direction. And I pondered, I wondered, I said, why? Why is that? And then logic gave me some answers. Like, Michael, they're having that moment now in college since they have NIL deals. So, when they get a little something in college, they're taking care of mom already. I'm not witnessing it here in the draft. But I'm sure it still happens with the NIL deals. So that, So the money they're getting in college has taken this moment away. I did notice some of the guys in the later rounds were emotional. So the guys in the early rounds used to be emotional because this declared the day that I could tell my mom, baby, you've been working too hard. You can take a break, and that was the draft used to be. Now, the crying, and that's why you cried. Now I see guys crying because they're so happy they got drafted. These top guys that are going to make the money and get the contract, get some money guaranteed, they're not crying about making the money. It's the 5th round, the 6th round. They're crying because he didn't believe he was going to get drafted. And somebody believed in him. That was interesting to watch that thing. To watch draft, and then to watch how things has metamorphosed, has changed, or transmuted to something totally different. But yet, still totally beautiful. It was so beautiful to see Bane and his family. His mom embracing him and tell him to go be you and do you and basically make them pay. Make them pay. Make them know. They doubted. Make them know. It was such a great moment. And you saw why I wanted Bane in Dallas. I told you guys, it's not about the physical skill set. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. We're playing in a game that requires man-to-man and hand-to-hand comeback. So yes, I want you to have the skill, but you gotta develop the will. And the will is what makes a difference. And his, man, he went 15th. But boy, I'm telling y'all, this man has some fire that he's going to bring in the NFL. And I'm going to call this out on ESPN. That was some real shitty shit you did. That was some real shitty shit. And honestly, I'm so angry about it. I'm so angry about it. That was some pile-on shit you did. Fucking classless. This fucking man, it's his biggest day. This man has worked his way up out of a hip, you know. And ain't even saying I came from a hard place. I'm doing it. He represented his hometown. He had on all brown, all the family, the whole family. Ain't no flashy jewelry. It's about business. It's about business. When that, oh man, I'm getting emotional. When that hat was on that counter, he snatched that hat, kept moving. He said, I ain't showing off for nobody. I'm not a fucking monkey in a fucking cage, and I'm not finna sit here and with a hat. Fuck y'all. Because all y'all been sitting here is talking about my arms, and you've been watching these damn tape. And then, after all that old dumb shit, what I see when this man finally gets his name called in his biggest day of his life, and he's going to sit here and watch this over and over and over with his kids? Are you shitting me? ESPN had, when he got drafted, making the walk under his name. His fucking arm length? Are you shitting me? What class? Are you shitting me? You had his arm length on the info bar up under his name. The info bar, information bar, what they give you up under the name, Ruben Bain. The arm, 7-8 arm length. You don't even have any correlation to that shit as an audience. You have no damn correlation. You don't know the needed or hopeful arm length is 33 or 34 or 30. You don't know. So, and it didn't say, it just said his arm length. Are you shitting me? Are you joking? Not how many sacks he had. Not All-American. Not led his team to a national title game. You fuckers had his arm length on his information bar. It is a direct, I thought it was a direct assault at this man and his family. And it was tantamount to the devil that wrote that article 7 days before the draft trying to hurt that man. And I think ESPN piled the fuck on by doing that. It was classless, man. This is this man. Big day. Your job at that big moment, he just got drafted, is to show his highlight. Not what y'all has considered to be a low light, and it wasn't a low light in his career on the football field. It's just a low light in your motherfucking mind. And whoever ran that graphics bar should be fired. They should be fired, and I mean that. How the hell you gonna do that on the man's biggest day? Oh my God. We got people doing things that don't know the work that goes in to get to the place this man is at. You don't know it. All your ass is doing is punching some damn letters or punching a few keys. You don't know it. And then you're going to mark his biggest moment with the thing that people have used to assault him the most. You're like a rapist. That's what that is to me. And yes, that's harsh. But that's real. Because you rate the man of his greatest moment by putting that information bar like that. Hell, man. Ah. What comes from this kind of pain, is greatness. It's greatness. And I do believe pain will bring you greatness. No one's going to say anything to ESPN about this graphic. So I'm saying something right here. That shit was classless. It was absolutely classless. And you owe Reuben Bain and his whole family, and honestly, the whole U family, an apology. You owe them an apology. Because some damn body should have put a highlight under that, on that information bar. It should have said how many sacks he had. It should have said he was an All-American. It should have said something positive. And you didn't do it. You didn't do it.